Small town courtroom, wooden floors, mama crying by the door. Clock on the wall don't make a sound when the judge says life out loud. Tiffany staring at her hands, chains around her final stand. The chapter closed, a heavy vow. She can't hurt no one now. Veronica stood when the gavel fell. Truth rang louder than a prison cell. No more fear, no more doubt. Justice finally spoke out. Pain don't vanish, scars stay deep. But tonight the world can't sleep because evil lost somehow. She can't hurt no one now. Victims spoke with shaking voice. Still they made a fearless choice. Said we forgive, but we won't forget. That's the strongest thing said yet. Not for her, but for their souls. Breaking free from what she stole. Grace don't mean you back her ways. It just means hate won't stay. Veronica stood when the gavel fell. Truth rang louder than a prison cell. No more fear, no more doubt. Justice finally spoke out. Pain don't vanish, scars stay deep. But tonight the world can't sleep because evil lost somehow. She can't hurt no one now. Forgiveness ain't weakness, it's iron and steel. It's choosing to live, it's choosing to heal. Life behind walls, no more control. No more victims, no more souls. Veronica won not with a fist, but with the truth they couldn't dismiss. A sentence written in concrete and sound. Tiffany's world just shut down. Families rise broken but proud. They bury fear in that courtroom crowd. Justice spoke, the crowd knew how. She can't hurt no one now. Church bells ring not for revenge, but for the end of her damage. The past still hurts, but hope allows. She can't hurt no one now. I prefer this response.
Hello to everybody. For those of you who stayed up, we will still do a live tomorrow. Let me get this off the screen so we can talk. There's a lot to talk about. Let's see here. Let me get this off of here. Listen, I've had like 3 hours sleep, so bear with me here just a little bit. I know you guys have waited. Hey, Hawkeyes. Hey, Miss Collector's Item. Yippee-ki-yay. Jason, I know you waited up. PM sews it up. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we got into the courtroom, and they brought Tiffany in. Her hair was down, and at the very first of the court, the defense started. The defense was reading affidavits. One thing that happened in court today is I guess they had a meeting last week, and everything was going to be affidavits, which would cause the court not to go 3 or 4 days. That's why they was able to do it one day. There was a lot of affidavits that was read. They were also sealed after they were read. So I don't know how that part's going to come out. But the one thing, listen, I know I've always only wanted justice and the truth, okay? I feel for the families. I really do. And what happened is absolutely horrible. But I also have felt that the truth had to come out. And the truth did come out on the defense side. The essay was brought up with the half-brother. And I don't know how much I can say, but it was definitely brought up. It also was said, hey, Pumpkin Spice, good to see you. So where the ball was dropped. Listen, I've said this from the get-go. I feel like DHS don't do their job right in any state, okay? In any state. I think that whole system needs revamped. But what happened is cuz I see you guys chatting. I see you over there. I'm going to try to stay on track cuz I'm really tired and I want to make sure I get everything to you. Okay? So hopefully I'm going to get everything to you. But anyway, so Veronica filed in Grant County, okay? So they was having hearings both places. And that's where the DHS was going to, and the Prairie what's it called? Prairie View, where they sent her brother, the Prairie View reports, all that was going to the Kansas side. Well, it was decided that court was going to be in Cimarron County. So the cases, the way I understood it, in Grant County just went away. Well, nobody followed up on the SA cases either. Now, there was supposedly one in Oklahoma and then a substantiated one. That was all brought out. That's and Tiffany's attorney said, this is what he said. He apologized to the family. He said, I recognize that you lost family members and this was horrendous. And I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here. I want to add context to what happened. And so that's where the SA came in. Okay. And he talked about it pretty much in detail. Also, he said, hit that Tiffany Gleason, she had an affidavit there. There was so many. DHS, also the defense had some of them, and they read them all. And the whole morning was about the essay. We took a 10-minute break, came back. Buddy Leach and Trevor was reading affidavits. Same thing. They was rebutting the essay. And listen, I'm just going to be honest because I'm always honest with you guys. It really kind of bothered me because we just had all these affidavits over on the defense side where it was saying that these essays happened, okay? Not necessarily with Wrangler's kids. I don't think that was, I didn't take it that one was substantiated, but the one that happened with the younger brother, that one was substantiated. And somebody dropped the ball. Absolutely dropped the ball on it. But you got the DA up there reading statements from people that said they were always allegations, they wasn't true, after we had just heard that they were true. So that really, I know that had to bother the family, but the truth is the truth. It's got to come out. We knew it would come out, and it come out. Does that make me look any different on them? No. I just feel like the DHS really dropped the ball. And I will probably always feel that way, and a lot of people might not feel that way. It was brought up in court many times from different people that Tiffany didn't care about the grandkids, that it was all about control. And that could be it. That could be it. I don't know Tiffany. I just went looking for Veronica and Jillian, okay? But I am a grandma, and I've said this many times. And if them allegations or the truth paperwork was sent to me showing that it had really happened, even in other cases, listen, I would want to protect my grandkids. I couldn't unalive innocent people and go to that extreme. But DHS should have stepped up more. I also feel like the judges should have stepped up more. There was a lot of failure, and it could have stopped some of this stuff. Would it have stopped it all? Maybe not. But it could have stopped some of it. So, okay, so that happened. Well, then they decided we was going to go to lunch. So we were supposed to go to lunch, be back at 1:15. The other thing is, in all the other times I've went, the parking lot is blocked off, not letting just anybody in the parking lot even. Listen, we was able to pull right up. Anyway, so after we go for lunch, we was ready to go to lunch, and we was out in the vehicle getting ready to leave, but then we didn't end up leaving. But anyway, I looked up, and there they were walking Tiffany right in front of my vehicle. And I'll be damned if they didn't. My window was down. I could have reached out and touched her. She was right there. Then they walked her to this truck right next to me and put her in the back seat. And it was just kind of strange. They didn't have everything blocked off. And maybe they've been doing it that way. I don't know. This is the first time I've been back to court in a while. So I took pictures of that. As a matter of fact, let me show them to you. Let me just pull them up. J Sledge, what did Granny do? Move some rocks because her people said so. Actually, 2 women was unalived because of Granny. And again, I wanted to go live for you guys. I know many of you is waiting. Listen, it was a long drive. Hey, Jay Thomas. And we will go live and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. I mean, look, there's 33 of you in here listening. You wanted to know. You wanted to know what was going on. Okay, let me pull this up. I try to post things for you guys. I don't know if you looked. Oh, hold on. I don't know if you happened to look at the channel in the posts, but I posted the pictures. I had my phone in my hand, so I went ahead and took the pictures. She had her hair down after lunch. She had it up in a bun. Yes, Heath was there. Jillian's husband was there. I'm going to get to that. Yes, he was there. He was there, and some lady and a girl. It wasn't his daughter. It didn't, because I saw his daughter before, and some other guy. But he was there, and he gave a statement. And while I'm trying to pull this up, I'm just going to tell you, he gave a really good statement. He said that God didn't have room for hate, didn't allow him to have room for hate. He said that he forgave her. He told Tiffany he forgave her. He also told Tiffany he had a little Bible for her, and I don't remember if he called them her padres, but for her and basically her group, and that he had talked to Buddy Leach, and Buddy Leach said that he had no problem. He would deliver them Bibles to them if they wanted them. I didn't see her show any response, any kind of emotion through any of it. And I sat on the front row, and I was trying to watch, but could not tell if she had any kind of emotion. Her hair, like I said, her hair was in her all around her face the first part of the day. And then when she came back, couldn't really see her. She had some red glasses on, but you really couldn't see her. Couldn't see her face. She was looking forward. It wasn't like she was looking down, not paying attention. She was looking, but I didn't see any emotion. Let's see here. I want to show you these pictures. So after lunch, they did the victims' impact statements, and then the judge asked if, for closing arguments, and then he said, "Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead. I need to go and I need to go into my chambers and really think about this." So we all went to break. Okay, we all stepped out and went to break. He said, "Be back in at 3:15." We come back in at 3:15, and listen, I'm not the only one that went out to my car. Several others went out to their car too. We come back in, and I'm standing there. Matt Bowley's standing there. I said, "Well, so where's your scanner lady?" He goes, "What scanner lady?" I said, "Your sheriff officer. Where's her with her scanner?" He goes, "Do we need it?" This was the only thing that really kind of bothered me. The security's always bothered me with transporting these people. Yes, the family seemed really great. The judge told them, as far as emotions, they couldn't have any, and to get up and go. And if they didn't, somebody would ask them to get up and go. I will tell you, the family did a great job at controlling their emotions. A really great job. And their victim impact statements was really good. Really good. First one that went up was LaDonna, and hers was good. Like I said, they all were really good. And LaDonna talked. Melissa talked, which is the aunt. And Joey, the brother-in-law, talked. And like I said, all of them was really good. Amanda talked. Clint wrote a statement, and his wife read it. And they were all really good victim impact statements. Very good. Okay, so here was this. Oh, I got it up there. Okay, here was the post. My throat is really dry. Sorry. Okay. This is the vehicle. Like I said, the parking lot wasn't blocked off. Let me go back. I took several pictures. Guess not all of them posted. I took like 7 pictures. It was very interesting. So there was that, and the judge said that he read off the counts. And as a matter of fact, has anybody seen? I know a lot of people wasn't watching. You're welcome. You're very welcome. And listen, when you have media or just anybody in there, a lot of times they're going to see it all different. They might see a different way than I saw it. Okay, I'm just telling you how I saw it and how I felt and how things was going in my eyes. I will say this: I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about it, but I said something earlier, and one of the brother-in-laws, I heard him say, I was a troll. I heard him say troll, and I'd already told myself, yeah, I tried to get the truths out here, and I know I've ruffled some feathers, but all the way along the line, I just wanted the truths out there. Good, bad, or indifferent. The truth will always prevail, right? Truth's got to always prevail. So I knew that I've rubbed some family wrong in different ways, and that was never my intention, but I know it happened. So I'd already told myself, listen, if anybody, it was why I said troll. It was the brother-in-law. But listen, I'm telling the story. I would tell the story anyway. But I'd already told myself, listen, if somebody says something to me, this is their day. Okay, this is the family's day. This is not going to be complete closure, but it's a start for them. And it's been a long time coming for them. I get it. Understand it. After the brother-in-law did his victim impact statement, when he came back, I mean, he looked at me. We were locking eyes, and I could feel he was angry with me. Anyway, when court got over, we was back in the vehicle, and Justified said, hey, somebody's at your window. I looked out, and it was one of Veronica's aunts. And I rolled my window. I didn't know what she was going to say. I'm not going to go into details of everything that was said because that wouldn't be fair. But I will say this. She said, hey, can we talk? I got out of the vehicle. I talked to her. I talked to her husband. We talked about a lot of things. I gave him a hug. They gave me a hug. And one of the things that was brought up, I am going to talk about. They said, well, 6 kids, Wrangler having 6 kids, and, you think he's clean? Listen, everything that I've seen with Wrangler, he is clean, and he's got a job, and he's working hard. And Wrangler's talked to me a while back. I haven't talked to him since Christmas, and I really need to call him. But one of the things he has said from the get-go is when he gets his kids back, he plans on getting his kids back, and he might have got them back by now. I don't know. I haven't talked to him since Christmas, okay? But one thing he always said was Veronica's family was still important and had to be in the kids' life. And I don't think that would ever change. He did say that the only thing he wouldn't do is like allow people to talk to the kids about Tiffany. He just don't want that stuff done. But he definitely wants everybody still involved in the kids' life. So anyway, I walked away from there. I don't believe the brother-in-law's mad at me anymore. We actually had a decent conversation. We talked about a lot of things. And it was definitely, you're welcome. It was definitely a good conversation. Now, I know that, again, some of the family really didn't want the SA out there. I get it. But it is part of it. It is part of it. And it's an important part. Let's see here. Tiffany would most likely still be free if not for your bravery and diligence. We'll always remember you with your beautiful horse and dogs. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Justified had the horses, and that's who's with me now. It's like I told the brother-in-law. I heard you call me a troll. Let me tell you, I have not made a dime off this channel. People has donated to help Wrangler with gas, but I'm not trying to make anything off this channel. A troll, a drifter is somebody that does this to make money. It's always been about the truth. It's always been about the truth to me. And I will say most of the people that follows this channel, our channel, the Rock Talk channel, you guys are from the area. You know how everything's done. You know that things have been swept under the rug for so many years. That's who we got in this channel. People that's from, most of them's from the Panhandle. They might not still live there, but a lot of you do. And you just don't want to see the good old buddy system happen anymore. Now, I'm going to say some things that some people is probably not going to like, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't say it the way I feel it. Okay? I will tell you that the sister and brother-in-law did say, Rock, by the way, we did try to get this case moved. So it sounds like to me the family did try to get the case moved out of Guyman. They have the same concerns, is what it sounds like. I still wish the case would get moved. I don't want to talk bad about your DA, but I've sat in a lot of courts. I've seen a lot of DAs, and I do not have faith in that guy. As a matter of fact, when he went to speak, I know Justified thought he had a stroke. He started talking. He stopped. The judge said, something, are you okay? And he said, I don't know, or whatever. The judge said, do we need to take another 10-minute break? This is your DA. And I have a right to my own opinion. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel like Buddy Leach, he don't want to do a trial on any of them. I don't even know if the guy's got it in him. Now that Trevor, the other DA guy, he seemed really good. He's young. He seems really, really good because he was reading the affidavits. But I don't know. My own opinion, I don't think Buddy Leach is, I don't know. I don't think he wants to do a trial. I think that's why there's plea bargains. You know, yes, Tiffany got life without parole. But why does she not have to testify? Why was that part of her deal where she would have to testify? I still think she should have had to testify. Yes, that old woman did. She's destroyed so many lives and no emotion. Again, I didn't see any emotion from her. For you to see a smile, it's always good to see you too. Thanks for everything you do, Rock. You come with the truth and receipts. Yeah, and you listen. Sometimes the truth is not what people want to hear. Okay? It's not what they want to hear. You stand up and may ruffle some feathers. I've got your back from day one, boots on the ground. Listen, you that's in here right now, you guys have had my back. You know, there's probably times that I would not have still did the lives on this YouTube channel. I feel like we've become a family here, and people can reach out from that area, and we can bring things to light in that area, and we brought a lot to light. We brought out Kevin McIntyre. I'm still not done there. And while I'm on that, you can bet your ass I was looking for body cameras today. And guess what? I saw 3 of them. And I wrote the names down. It's out in the car. But the girl that always runs the one that didn't have a walkie-talkie that time when we was watching, the one that always wands people, she had a body camera on. The guy at the front of the court, he was a big guy. He had a body camera on. And then there was another guy running around the courthouse. He had a body camera on. So, if nothing else, I want to think that you guys speaking up and me speaking up, it's 2026. They need to be wearing them damn body cams. And I was glad to see the body cams in the court. Absolutely was glad to see it. Was anyone there for Tiffany, family and friends? Okay. When we got there, the court lady, she obviously knew who I was. She said, you have to sit on the front row. And it's okay. Well, and I said, Justifies with me. She said, well, does she have to sit with you? I said, no, she don't have to sit with me. I'll just sit in the back with her. She said, no, you will sit on the front row. So I had no choice. She made me sit on the front row, and Justified had to sit in the back. But with that said, I really didn't turn around to look at people in the gallery. Okay. I didn't even know where Justified had sit because I was busy paying attention. And again, you know, I don't want anybody thinking, you know, I'm staring at them or whatever. But I believe the sister from Tulsa, I believe she was there because I showed Justified a picture and she said, yeah, that lady was there. So I believe the one sister from Tulsa was there. There were some people I didn't know. One guy had, like, his blue jeans were starched or had a really nice, Western shirt on. There was several people that was sitting on that side, whether they was there for her, I don't know. Oh, let me tell you this too, okay? This really got me. So when we get in there, um, they bring Tiffany and she's sitting there. Um, there's a younger attorney sitting on the left side of her and then a female on the left side of him, okay? This guy, he had a long sleeve shirt on and jeans. He's up there. It looked like he was just cutting the shit with Tiffany, if you wanna know the truth. She was laughing, he was laughing. It looked like they was having a good conversation to me. That's what I saw. Well, I heard somebody ask Matt Boley, "Who is that guy?" He said, "He's part of the defense team. He is, not a detective. He was, damn, my mind's blank. An investigator. He's an investigator for the defense team." And I'll be honest, I'm sitting there thinking, well, his name ain't on the list here. And since when do they just let her talk to anybody in the gallery? But let me tell you, he didn't just do that before court. He did it at break. Every time we came back in, he was up there sitting in the attorney's seat talking to her. So he walked by and I asked him what his name was, and he just laughed. He didn't give me his name. So I asked Trevor, I said, "Who is that guy?" He said, "He's part of the defense. He's the investigator." I said, "Does he got a name?" He didn't give me the name either. But I just found it strange that he's not one of the attorneys listed, but he was allowed to sit up there and have conversation with her. And if she's there for sentencing, isn't his investigative work over? I don't know. Is his investigative work over? I don't know. I found that strange too. You wouldn't see that happen in our courts. I ain't ever seen that happen in court. You're not allowed to talk to anybody other than your attorneys and the judge. So that did go on. I found it strange. No. Was Cora and Cole there? No, they was not in the courtroom. The only one out of the 5 that was there was Tiffany. I didn't see Tad's mom there either. Did not see Tad's mom there. Yes, Beach Baby, we are family. Listen, prayers for Beach Baby and her husband. They've been really sick and got pneumonia. And I wasn't able to visit very long, but I need them to take care of themselves for sure. K. Joe Wise, thanks, Rock. Glad the family is starting to get closure. Yes, closure. God bless you and yours. Listen, the family was the heroes today. Man, they held up more than I could. And listen, this wasn't the easiest thing, but let's not forget, Tad's trying to get out of this. Tad is trying to get out of this. He's trying to say Grice forced them to do everything. Listen, they all 5 should be charged the same way. Okay, they're all guilty. And if they're not getting the death penalty, they should all get life without parole. But that's how I feel. But you know, Paul took a plea deal just not to have the death penalty. Okay, Cora took a plea deal. What is it? 35 plus 10. She has a chance of getting out. Is it worth Tad or Cole having that chance to get out too? Listen, it really scares me. And after seeing Buddy Leach today, man, I don't know. I hope he's better in a trial. But that's just my own opinion. Listen, I don't know Buddy. Okay, I don't know him from anybody else. And if I thought he just did one hell of a job, even if I didn't like him, I'd tell you, man, that DA is fire. He's doing one hell of a job. I was not getting that impression from him at all. Anyway, that's my opinion of that. Yes, no other defendants were there. It might have been Tella, the one with the glasses. Delightfully chaotic. I always back you, Rock. I know you. Listen, you guys have been awesome. Thank you for all you do. You truly are a special lady. Listen, I try again. Um, one thing, if we can't tell the truth on this channel, I don't want this channel. If I have to hem haul around, because listen, the one aunt sent the essays to everybody in Discord. We had them. We read them. Yeah, she sent them. That's a fact. Okay, that's a fact. And I know Carrie Moody's read it too. Let me throw that out there. I know she read it a long time ago. The point is, it's still part of what happened. You can sit here and say all you wanted about Tiffany, but she wasn't lying about the essay. She wasn't lying about it. Do I tend to believe that she wasn't thinking about the grandkids like she said she was? Absolutely. I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, she took the mom. She also took another innocent lady. It's not horrible. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. It's horrible. Yes, Lollipop, we are family. I always feel it. Hearing about the body camera being worn. Yes, listen, I'm going to keep on that body camera. That's a big thing. We are in 2026. You're filmed everywhere you go. And I mean, everywhere you go, you get filmed. Whether it's your neighbors or you're walking down the street in the town you're in, you're going to get filmed. Why wouldn't law enforcement, they have to get out there and deal with public, and they deal with some horrible people? Okay, we've talked about this before. Some of the kids nowadays, or even adults, do not care about consequences. Why would you not want that on video? At least if something happens to you, video don't lie and it's there. You know, a lot of homicide detectives, they wear body camera now when they're doing their investigations and their interviews. I just don't understand. If you're doing everything right, why wouldn't you wear your body cameras that the taxpayers paid for on top of that? Let's see here. I wonder if that investigate was a friend of hers. Well, they were sure listen, hopefully other people will talk about it because I don't want to be the only one talking about it, but they were sure cutting up and he had his foot like on the chair and he was in blue jeans. All the other attorneys were dressed in suits, okay? And who's over that? Who would that be? Buddy Leach's job? Like he's the DA. Hey, wait a minute. They can't talk to her? I mean, whose job was it to say? Because Matt Boland said, "Hey, he's part of the defense team. He's the investigator." I guess you're just supposed to take Matt for his word, and that's how it goes. Like investigators. I mean, the case. She was going to sentencing. What else did the investigator have to do for her? I mean, seriously. What else did the investigator have to do? Jezebel Witch says, I know that these 5 are guilty, but to think this SA kid is the root of this all, or maybe that's just my feeling. Listen, uh, I I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but it was talked about in court. What about the little brother? I mean, that was substantiated what the brother did to the little brother. Who's going to save the little brother? I'm just saying. I don't know. DHS ain't. DHS needs to get it. Okay, so the case got closed in. This is this is gonna piss somebody off, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So the case has got closed in Grant County. It don't make the SAs go away. DHS can pick that back up and start investigating again and getting whatever help they need to get for that family. It didn't just stop because the parents separated them, okay, and they couldn't take baths together no more. It don't just stop. You know what? 11-year-old is watching pornographic material and doing crazy shit like this. Where'd they see it at? It's not just gonna stop. Flock cameras are gonna get you. I love them. We have 4, I think, in my town. Yeah, we have a lot of flock cameras too. You know, I gave a car away. I'm gonna make this simple. I gave a car away. I let the lady come get it. Uh, she left with my tag, and she was supposed to send it as soon as she got back. She didn't send it, and I kept asking for it. Listen, I had to turn it in stolen. It wasn't even 12 hours in Broomfield, Colorado. The cop was driving through the parking lot. She was sitting in the car I gave her with the tag on it. The tag was reported stolen. The cop called me, and they took my tag off. So yeah, you're filmed everywhere. Even cop cars that drive by, they automatically read the tags. That was quick. Okay, the investigation bringing out the essay won't help Amanda. We know the truth. Amanda lied in her court documents. Yeah, you know, Amanda was talking about me today too. Listen, lady, I don't wish anything bad on you. Okay, I think what everybody's went through is horrible. But I do think that You know, you got to protect your kids too, including your youngest one. And if it takes getting extra help, that's what you should get. You should continue to do it. Don't just stop. Just don't stop. I wished that was one of them things that just stops. It don't. Got to get that help. Yes, hello, Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes is working. Let's see here. Tiffany has always hated Veronica. I believe that. I believe that, and I think Veronica seems like she liked everybody. But the essay was icing on the cake. I agree. And I also agreed with the statements that you said you were trying to protect the grandkids. She took their mom. Look what she left the grandkids to have to deal with for the rest of their life. This is horrible. And they did say, the one in her statement said that the son had got off the bus and said kids were teasing him and saying that his, I think it was Mima. I think that's what they called her, Mima. Mimi, maybe Mimi or Mima said kids on the bus was telling me my Mimi killed my mom. You know, that's pretty hard. And that, it is something that the kids are going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives. Hey, Patroness Glow, hope you're doing well. The essay was icing on the cake. Had the essay not happened, I believe she still would have unalived her. That's true. It could have. I mean, we could Meemaw. Okay, it was Meemaw then. We could sit here and say what we think we would do. I'll just tell you guys. My nephew did some things with my youngest daughter, and it tore my family apart because I was ready to kill him when I found out. And people in my family tend to side with my sister, including my mother. She sided with my sister and my piece of shit nephew. It tears the family apart, especially when you have essays. The part I would say about this, the kid's young. Get him into counseling, get him some help. And you still got to protect your other child and any other children. That's how I feel. Hey, y'all. Good to see ya. Don't let your babies out of your sight, folks. That's right. That's right. Let me pull up. I'm going to play a couple things. Listen, I appreciate everybody waiting up. And then I was like, oh, I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. But I will tell you, KSN, Julia Thatcher was there. Also, News Channel 10 from Amarillo was there. There's a guy that sat by me, super nice guy out of Topeka. He writes for a paper there. He's going to email me and send me what it is. And there was another guy there. I don't know where he was from. There was a lady from Springfield there. Let's see. She said she used to work for the Highway Patrol and all this other crazy stuff, whoever she was. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. One thing that bothers me when like KSN drops it, KSN 3 drops it, they drop it in weird ways. It's kind of crazy how they drop it. So we're going to try to pull up everything that was done. There was something done 16 hours ago. So we're going to start there. They're not very long, 1 minute and 42 seconds, just so everybody can see it. So we're just going to go with that. And then I'll catch up with chat too as I'm going. Okay.
Good morning. Thanks for starting your Monday with us. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Zach Martin. A story we have been tracking since 2024. Tiffany Adams is being sentenced for her role in the ambush, attack, and murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly.
KSN's Julia Thatcher has followed this story since the two mothers were reported missing. She's in Guyman, Oklahoma, with a preview of what we can expect in court. It's our top story.
Good morning. Tiffany Adams has taken a no contest plea deal. As part of that plea agreement, the death penalty is off the table. Also, she will not have to testify in anything related to this. So 2 of the 5 suspects have not taken a plea deal in connection to the murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly, and it appears that their cases are moving toward a trial. If that happens, Tiffany will not have to testify Also, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and 2 counts of child neglect have been dismissed. That's notable because investigators say
I agree.
custody over Veronica Butler's children is at the center of these murders. We are not allowed to have cameras inside the courtroom. I will bring you the latest on what happens today and if we hear anything from Tiffany Adams, if she addresses the court or speaks. Here for you in Guyman, Oklahoma, Julia Thatcher, KSN News 3.
All right.
Thank you,
So,
Julia. One of the people heading the
hold on.
trial is Tad Colam.
Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. There's more. Let's watch this. I did not see this last night. So here we go.
He pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder and several other crimes. Last month, the court turned down his request to dismiss charges, but agreed to push back his trial to October. Cole Twombly's trial is also delayed until next year. Cora Twombly and Paul Grice are due back in court in August. They each took plea deals. Stick with KSN. Julie will bring us updates on today's sentencing throughout the day.
Okay. Now, Julia also went on and said that, let me find it here. She talks about the defense attorney and how the defense attorney spoke to the family. And I want you guys to hear it. I might have to try to go to just their website. It was the one before this, but I'm going to go ahead and play this because we're here while I look it up at the website.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jeff Herndon. Nearly 2 years after the bodies of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly were found buried in a freezer in a field, the mastermind behind their deaths learned her sentence. Tiffany Adams spending the rest of her life in prison without the possibility of parole. Julia Thatcher, the only Wichita camera outside the courthouse today, and bring us a recap of what family and friends said in their victim impact statements.
We heard from several loved ones today of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. Many people said that they believe the case does not center around trying to protect Veronica Butler's children, but rather Tiffany Adams' desire for control. That's something that Veronica Butler's mom said in her victim impact statement, pointing to Tiffany's desire for
Hold on, I
control.
want to say this, okay? You saw the pictures earlier with her hair down. She came back from lunch with her hair like that. I'm going to back it up just a little bit. I don't know if she just got hot with her hair. I'm going to say I don't think she wanted people to be able to see her face. I don't know. I don't know why she put her hair up. Probably got hot.
Tiffany's desire for control. Veronica's mom said that she prays for Tiffany and prays specifically for her salvation, her redemption, and her forgiveness. She said that her prayers were not something that Tiffany can control. We also heard from Jillian's husband for the first time.
Are you guys not seeing the video? What do you mean, Justified? You're not seeing it? I'm seeing it. Back out and come back in, Justified. Back out and come back in. Because it's on there. Okay, sorry, guys.
Time he described Jillian, who she was and what she was like as a mom. He also looked at Tiffany and
let
said,
me say this, okay? I still think Matt Boley could do a way better job with how they're doing security there at the courthouse. Again, family went out, smoked during that 15-minute break. We all came in, nobody got wanded after they just gave their impact statements. Yes, the family was good, but how many times have you heard of a courthouse that somebody comes back in, a family member with a weapon? I didn't find that to be very safe. And I thought it was weird how anybody could, it was loud outside the courtroom. Remember how they used to kind of shut the courtroom down and shut the parking lot down? That's not how it was today. It's not how it was today.
Mom. He also looked at Tiffany and said, I forgive you. He said, I don't know why, but I forgive you. He also said that if he wanted God to forgive him, he had to find a way to forgive Tiffany. And he also said that he had Bibles for Tiffany and the other suspects accused in their murders. Veronica's fiance also gave a victim impact statement. He called Veronica his wife. He described their life together and what she was like as a mom. He also looked at Tiffany and he said that Veronica won. Veronica protected her children and prevented Tiffany from hurting anyone else. And we also heard from Veronica's dad. He said that if Tiffany really was focused on protecting the children, if she really did love the children, he wanted her to know that the children despise their grandmother. Something interesting, nobody spoke on behalf of Tiffany Adams today. Tiffany Adams is the first of the 5 suspects accused of murdering Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly to have her case moved forward to a sentencing. 2 other people have taken a plea deal, and 2 others are waiting right now for their trials to move forward. Here for you in Guyman, Oklahoma, Julia Thatcher, KSN News 3.
Okay, let me stop that right there. So the other thing was, yes, it was the Kansas Reflector. Let me stop that. It was the Kansas Reflector. That was the gentleman who sat by me all morning, all afternoon, and we did talk a little bit. And I looked at him, I said, you ever seen somebody just get it, this guy in the jeans? You ever seen somebody that just can go up there and just have a good old conversation every time we have a break with the defendant? Listen, I've never seen anything like that. And again, so he's part of the defense team, an investigator. What is there left to investigate? Oh, the other thing was Tiffany's money. They were talking about court fees. And then her attorney said, listen, she ain't got no money. She can't afford court fees. And the judge said, I don't remember how exactly he said it. So listen, this is how I remember it. Might not be the exact words. But what the judge says, well, you know, some say she's got money. Some say she don't. Some say she's got land. He said he's basically going to make her pay court fees, and he'll evaluate it. So as of now, she's got to pay them court fees. While we're here, we're just going to go ahead and pull up KFDA. I don't see anything else under KSN. Julia Thatcher said she was going to do another one, and she was going to talk about the defense attorney and why the defense attorney said the stuff he did to the family, and he wanted to bring context to the case. But it don't look like she ever dropped that one. So we'll try to see if we can find it, because she said it was going to be at 6. I don't see it. Then there was a girl from here. She was super nice too. Listen, anybody that's covering it, and if they're there covering it, then they're doing a good job, right? They're taking their time out to go cover it. And she went on camera a couple times, so I want to make sure, see if she did more than one. Listen, we're all in there. We're all hearing the same thing. Yep, it looks like she's only did this one, so we'll play it.
At 5, in a developing story, of course, Tiffany Adams
sold her land. She sold her land. She sold some of it to her daughter for $10 and some of it to her other son for $10. I don't think she's got anything left in her name. Unless it's in that trust that can't be touched. I don't know. That's something I don't know. Okay, here we go.
Story, of course, Tiffany Adams, the supposed mastermind in the murders of 2 Kansas mothers, has been sentenced.
News Channel 10's Paige Stockton was in court today as they read out the ruling.
I am outside the Texas County Courthouse where Tiffany Adams has learned that she will be spending the rest of her life in prison. The judge sentenced her to 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole in court today. It was a very emotional day, as the attorneys for Adams began by providing affidavits from other attorneys, DCFS experts, therapists, and family members explaining the reason behind Tiffany Adams' plot to murder Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. Adams' counsel says this was not a justification or an excuse for what happened, but maybe an answer as to why. The morning was spent listening to testimony describing a child custody case that is the root of what these murders relied on. Testimony from lawyers and child experts described the alleged ongoing child sexual abuse from the uncle of the Butler's kids, who was also a minor. He has not had any charges go up against him in this case. However, Adams believed it was an ongoing issue. Later in the afternoon, we heard victim impact statements from both Butler and Kelly's families describing the tremendous loss of these 2 women. The judge then sentenced Adams to life without the possibility of parole in the first 2 counts of murder. Adams will have 10 days to file an appeal with the courts. Tad Cullum and Cole Twombly both have pleaded not guilty and will have a jury trial later on this year and going on to next. We will continue to follow this case and provide updates as they become available. Reporting in Guyman, Paige Stockton, News Channel 10.
Okay, so we're going to go over this. So now, since she was sentenced, will they move Tiffany to a state prison and get her out of Guyman? Well, you would think they would, because guess what? She don't have to testify. Why does she need to stay? They need to move her. She's not testifying against anybody. There's no reason to have her still here. They should move her as fast as they can. That's what I think. Thank you, Cat A. Carey. Listen, I had to see some people, and I had to drive all the way back to Colorado. But I wanted to go live for you guys, so I haven't been able to look on OSCN or anything. So I do appreciate that. OSCN said she only has to pay $900 in court costs and fines. Mommy 25 Angels, thank you for sharing this. I've been in the hospital and sepsis for a month. Oh my gosh, month and super sick, so I haven't been able to keep up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Listen, I know that you take care of your daughter's kids. We got to have you healthy. Many prayers to you. I hope you're doing a lot better. Listen, I've told you 1,000 times, if there's anything I can do to help you, you've got my number, love. And I hope you are feeling better. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. We're glad you're still around. Okay, let's see here. One thing I did not like about all this is no coverage. No in-court cameras. That is out of the Stone Age. It is the public's right to have access to the court activities. Listen, I'm just curious about this, okay? I'm curious about this. So this is just my thought, okay? Now they're wearing body camera. The guy at the front of the courtroom had his body camera on. Whether it was turned on, I don't know. But he did have it on his vest. Can somebody FOIA that? I don't know. It's sealed, so they would have to redact a lot. Could that be FOIA'd? I don't know. I saw there is a proposed law to get cameras in Oklahoma courts. Well, they need to. I will tell you that Oklahoma courts is one of the best as far as FOIAs and giving out body cams. And maybe that's why Texas County wasn't wearing the body cams. Because, shit happens in Oklahoma. And usually by the nightly news, if there's body cam, they've got it. They're pretty quick about it. So sorry. I hope you get to go home soon. I'll be praying for you. Absolutely. This gal did a long lunch show. She did? I was trying to find it. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find it again. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, they didn't leave for lunch either. We didn't leave either. They stayed out there filming. Both the reporters. The main media. Christopher Hughes. That's sad. The family is filling kids' heads with I don't know. I don't think that's what they're doing. I don't know. I'm not there. Listen, I feel like all the families has really went through a lot of emotions and a lot of things. I don't know. I'm not there, so I don't know. But she did say, the aunt did say that the son had come off the bus and asked about it. It's along the same lines as the body cameras, right? You're welcome. Listen, Patroness Glow, man, she's almost died on us several times. I need to know how Patroness Glow's going. Hopefully she's healthy. This is the first time she's been in here in a long, long time. Christopher Hughes says, any fines that make her pay come out of her canteen money before she can even buy shampoo. Well, I'm just telling you what the judge said. Listen, I feel like they do things different in this small town. I feel like when I sit in that courtroom, like I'm going back ages. Like so many other courtrooms seems like more up to date, just in how they handle things too. You'll never see some guy in jeans and a long sleeve shirt up there sitting there talking to the defendant like that happened. You won't see that. Thank you so much, Rock. Not better yet, but hopefully soon. Yes, I hope you do get better. That's for sure. Well, she has money on the books to make all the phone calls. Is anybody else nervous about Tads and Coles. Listen, I'm not from this area. Is Buddy Leach real good at giving plea deals? Is that his thing? How many trials does he do? Maybe we should check into that. How many trials does this guy actually do? Am I the only one that thinks Tiffany got the sweetest deal ever? She didn't have to testify. Why wouldn't you put that in the deal to testify? I mean, you had the death penalty on the table. Patronus Glow says my heart meds have rapidly made my kidneys bad, so I had to stop my infusions for my immune system and some of my pain meds. Damn, girl. Prayers for you. You've had it rough. It sounds like these court people make up all their own rules. It does. Like I said, I'm not trying to dog the court, but they're back in ancient times. They will move her as soon as paperwork is done. Well, it sounds like the paperwork's done. Again, I don't see where they even need her around because she's not testifying. Get her the hell out of there. I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but there's been a couple people reach out to me that's been in that jail while Tiffany's been in that jail. And she does think she's all that, according to them. She thinks she's something. To leave her grandkids with all this to deal with, she really, really messed stuff up for the grandkids. Now, you said that KFDA did a long lunch one. Let me just go to their website. We'll just pull up their website, see if we can find it that way. Sometimes YouTube ain't the best to look at. Most DAs will do anything to avoid trials these days. That's true, because even the ones that tell you that, they don't lose too many, they're always nervous because anything can happen. And I'm going to agree with that one too. Money talks, bullshit walks. I'm going to agree with that. They're all in the Texas County Jail. Oklahoma. Texas County. Okay, let's see here. See if we can find anything else that was... Because honestly, I like to hear other people. I used to love to listen to... 7 Day... What was Hope and that other girl? When they went... And Baby J, when they went and listened to the court. I always like to hear what everybody else has to say. Let's see here. Is this the same one she just gave? Let's see. No, first.
At 10, the first defendant has been sentenced in a Texas County courtroom in the murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly.
News Channel 10's Paige Stockton was in court today as the sentence was handed down.
Tiffany Adams, the claimed mastermind in the murders of 2 Kansas mothers, learned today she will be spending the rest of her life in prison as the judge sentenced her to life without the possibility of parole. The judge sentenced Adams on the first 2 counts of murder, life without the possibility of parole. On counts 4 and 5, unlawful removal of a dead body, she was sentenced to 5 years in the Department of Corrections for each. And on counts 6 and 7, the unlawful desecration of a human corpse, she was sentenced to 7 years for each count. The morning was spent listening to affidavits from DCFS experts, therapists, and family members explaining the reason behind Tiffany Adams' plot to murder Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. Adams' counsel says this was not a justification or an excuse for what happened, but maybe an answer as to why. Testimony was provided through
Okay. They were pulled in. They wasn't blocking the... I don't know if this was from today, but they wasn't blocking anybody from going in that parking lot. And that the truck that looked just like that was hauling Tiffany was right next to me.
The affidavits from experts and family about the alleged sexual abuse by their minor uncle to Veronica Butler's children. Testimony described Adams as very concerned and fearful for the children, which ultimately led her to the murders of Butler and Kelly. Later on in the afternoon, family and friends had the chance to give their victim impact statements in front of Adams, describing the tremendous loss both families feel. Some family in their statements said they forgive Adams, saying, quote, "I don't know why, but it doesn't really matter." While others described the anxiety, depression, and anger they still feel toward Adams, saying they will move forward in the freedom while Tiffany remains in the dark. Tiffany has 10 days to appeal the court's decision. She will be remanded to the Oklahoma Department of Corrections to live out her sentence. The other 4 defendants will have their days in court in the upcoming year and next. We will continue to follow this case and provide updates as they become available. Reporting in studio, Paige Stockton, News Channel 10.
Okay. You said she had one from lunch, so I was trying to find it. Let me just put it. Let's see if I can find it this way. Let's see. Let's see if this is the same one we just saw. Yep, it's the same one we just saw. What about this? Let's see what this one is.
At 10, the first defendant has been sentenced in a Texas county courtroom in the murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly.
News Channel 10's Paige Stockton was in court today as the sentence was handed down.
Tiffany
Okay,
Adams,
same one. Because she was out in the parking lot. Well, I'll tell you what. We're still going to go live tomorrow. Still going to go live tomorrow. There's 2 here. Let's see. And I'll see if I can't pull everything. Let's see here.
At 5, in a developing story, of course, Tiffany Adams, the
The other one was
supposed
10 to
mastermind
5,
in the
so-
murders of 2 Kansas mothers, has been sentenced.
News Channel 10's Paige Stockton was in court today as they read out the ruling.
I am outside the Texas County Courthouse where Tiffany Adams has learned that she will be spending the rest of her life in prison. The judge sentenced her to 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole in court today. It was a very emotional day as the attorneys for Adams began by providing affidavits from other attorneys, DCFS experts, therapists, and family members explaining the reason behind Tiffany Adams' plot to murder Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. Adams' counsel says this was not a justification or.
You know, I'm just going to say this. Watch how Tiffany gets in there. I come from a family of law enforcement, okay? It really, I did see that Baby Jay's husband passed away. Yes. That's been a couple months ago, but I know she's still having a hard time, and it was open May. Okay. Watch how this female sheriff officer, listen, I hate to be dogging them, but she puts Tiffany in the seatbelt, okay? Yes, Tiffany's hands are cupped in front of her, but look where the weapon is. Is it just me or what?
Or an excuse for what happened, but maybe an answer as to why. The morning was spent listening to testimony describing a child custody case that is the root of what these murders relied on. Testimony from lawyers and child experts described the alleged ongoing child sexual abuse from the uncle of the Butler's kids, who was also a minor. He has not had any charges go up against him.
Okay, so this is Tiffany's attorney right here. Can you see my... See if you could see my thing. Okay, this is the main attorney. This guy is the one. He sat on the right, he sat on the left, and then a young girl sat on the left. This guy
In this case,
right here, and the girl, they're the ones that read the affidavits today for the defense side.
however, Adams believed it was an ongoing issue. Later in the afternoon, we heard victim impact statements from both Butler and Kelly's families describing the tremendous loss of these 2 women. The judge then sentenced Adams to life without the possibility of parole in the first 2 counts of murder. Adams will have 10 days to file an appeal with the courts. Tad Cullum and Cole Twombly both have pleaded not guilty and will have a jury trial later on this year and going on to next. We will continue to follow this case and provide updates as they become available. Reporting in Guyman, Paige Stockton, News Channel 10.
Oops. Okay, so let me
Do you know the best?
An area dog is finally safe,
get to stop
found
here.
shivering. The dog had been dodging humans, full of concern for it for 6 days.
Let me say this. It seemed like there was maybe a sister there for Tiffany and maybe some other people. There were some people that I didn't recognize. If you're from the area, you would probably know them. That's the one thing I do miss about KFDA, the old camera guy. He just sat out there and filmed everything. Remember, he would film everything. I like that. I wish I could have just left my phone out there and filmed everything so you guys could see who went in and who went out. Hope and May, yes. And Baby Jay's husband did pass away. She likes control. I believe Tiffany likes control. I believe that. They didn't show it. They did not show it. Well, so Justified Me was looking at it. I mean, she's literally leaning in to grab the seatbelt and her weapon's right there, right where Tiffany's hands are. It's weird. It's weird how they do that. I mean, I hope they do more at Tad's security-wise, because that guy's looking at something. Every time he leaves that courtroom, he's looking around. And this, not only do you have family there, you have other officers, and the last thing you want is somebody getting a hold of a gun. I just, that's when accidents happen. When you start being too nonchalant and this will never happen. That's when they happen, right? That courtroom's awful small. Letting everybody go out for the break and not scanning them when we come back in could have been bad for everybody. And does anybody else think that they were the only 5 part of that Misfits? Do you think that group just stopped? Do you think because these 5 got arrested, they all changed their beliefs and become good citizens? I don't know. Just find it strange. But I've held you guys, yes, prayers to Baby J. She is having a hard time with it. I've held you guys long enough. We will still go live Tuesday. I appreciate everybody that stayed up. I'll try to find every news clip because I like to watch other people's news on it. And listen, they might catch something that I didn't catch. I really want to know who that investigator is and why he was able to carry on a conversation like he did with Tiffany. And listen, it's really none of my business, but I'm sitting there watching it. So kind of is my business because I'm watching it. Okay, guys, I'm going to play a song on the way out. I'll see everybody tomorrow night at 7. Hope everybody has a good night. I'm sorry it was so late again. Sorry it's so late. Listen, it was more careless now than it was when all 5 was going there as far as I was concerned. The minute you let your guard down and think nothing's going to happen, that's when it happens. And what does she have to lose? Nothing. Yes, we got 3 hours of sleep. We was out of here by 5:30 this morning driving, so I am tired. Absolutely tired. Listen, get your questions together. Anybody that wants to talk about it tomorrow night at 7, I'll even drop the link. You can come up and talk. Whatever. We'll do it. Much love to everybody. I'm going to go ahead and play this song. It was a song that I made right before the live. And it says, the name of the song is about Tiffany. I threw it together really quick, but the title is She Can't Hurt No One Now. So Jillian's been there for sentence. Yes, he was. He gave a victim impact statement. And it was a good one. It was really, all of them were good. But the 2 that really got me was Heath, and they called him Pastor Heath. When he got up on the stand, they called him Pastor Heath. His was really good. And Joey, the uncle, Melissa's husband. His was really good too. Really, really good. I mean, I know they all loved Veronica. I just felt like Joey had a special bond with Veronica by the way he talked. So here we go. Much love. I'll see everybody tomorrow night at 7. I do got some errands to run tomorrow, but hopefully I'll be back to do it by 7. I'm going to try really hard. Thank you, everybody, for staying up. If you have questions, hit me up tomorrow. We'll talk about it again. Hopefully I got some information out there that you guys wanted to know. Much love. See you tomorrow.
Small town courtroom, wooden floors, mama crying by the door. Clock on the wall don't make a sound when the judge says life out loud. Tiffany's staring at her hands, chains around her final stand. The chapter closed, a heavy vow. She can't hurt no one now. Veronica stood when the gavel fell. Truth rang louder than a prison cell. No more fear, no more.
So, Jezebel, you're curious about Tiffany's plea deal? Her plea deal is life without parole. That's her plea deal. She don't have to testify. She don't get the death penalty. Life without parole. She got 2 charges. The first 2 charges for murder was life without parole. And then there was 2 charges for moving a dead body. They were 5 years. And then there was 2 more charges for 7 years. And the judge says, listen, I'm going to run them consecutive because you can't get more than life without parole. So he did say that. Let's see here. I'm curious about Tiffany's plea deal. Thank you, Rock. You're welcome. I'm curious if she got that deal because Tad's lawyer is going to try to get Tad out of it. And if she didn't testify, there was no way she could possibly hinder his release. I'm wondering if that... Listen, I agree with you, and my thoughts are along that line too. Why is she not having to testify? Yeah, we said it was 2 life sentences. But why is she not having to testify? You know, Paul Grice and Cora, Paul Grice just got the death penalty taken off the table. That's it. He didn't get any other deal, okay? Life without parole. And he's still testifying. Why is she not having to testify? That's a big question. Where is the one from lunchtime? That's what I was looking for. I could not find it. Paige Stockton, video from lunchtime. Is it on Facebook? Let me see if it's on Facebook. I'm going to look for it real quick. Okay. I'm assuming it's going to be on Facebook. Is that what you're saying there? Was she in her car? Let's see if this is it. Because I haven't seen it either, and I want to see it. Okay.
Now, back in October. Hi guys, this is Paige Stockton with News Channel 10. I am live here in Guyman, Oklahoma at the Texas County Courthouse where Tiffany Adams is going through her sentencing process right now. Back in October, Tiffany Adams pleaded no contest, which means that she is not saying that she is guilty, but she's accepting all the punishment that goes along with that verdict. And so we are here to see her sentence today. This morning was spent a lot of just going through and the attorneys started this by saying that this is not a justification, this is not a excuse, but they just wanted to give a little bit of background into what happened. I think they said that this is not an excuse, a justification, or attack on any of the family members as they go through what the alleged child abuse case against.
Let me say this. It's not child abuse, which it could be. sexual abuse essays. That's what they went over, okay? Wasn't just why does everybody try to go around the essay word? It is what it is. You say what it is. Even as a reporter, you say what it is. Thanks, Rock. See you tomorrow. Absolutely. Christopher says, guarantee that Granny keeping her mouth shut helped Tad's case out tremendously. Absolutely. And let's not forget, it only takes one for him to walk in a jury trial. Well, this is crazy. The thought of it just makes me sick.
Veronica Butler's younger brother and or half brother and
Hold on, let me back that
children in this custody dispute. This is not a excuse, but they just wanted to give a little bit of background into what happened. I think they said that this is not an excuse, a justification, or attack on any of the family members as they go through what the alleged child abuse case
hold on.
against.
Hold on. You guys didn't tell me. Hold on. Let me get this off of here. Crap. Let me just get this off of here. Oh, I shouldn't try to do things when I'm tired, right? There we go. Somebody should have told me. Okay. Let me just back it up. Sorry, guys. My bad.
Hi guys, this is Paige Stockton with News Channel 10. I am live here in Guyman, Oklahoma at the Texas County Courthouse where Tiffany Adams is going through her sentencing process right now. Back in October, Tiffany Adams pleaded no contest, which means that she is not saying that she is guilty, but she's accepting all the punishment that goes along with that verdict. And so we are here to see her sentence today. This morning was spent a lot of just going through and the attorneys started this by saying that this is not a justification, this is not a excuse, but they just wanted to give a little bit of background into what happened. I think they said that this is not an excuse, a justification, or attack on any of the family members as they go through what the alleged child abuse case against Veronica Butler's younger brother and or half brother and the children in this custody dispute's uncle. There was alleged child abuse going on in the house, and so a lot of this morning was hearing sworn testimony from attorneys and DCF in Kansas and Oklahoma, legal attorneys got taken in by Tiffany Adams and Wrangler Rickman, which is Tiffany Adams' son and the father of the two children in this custody dispute. So we heard from his ex-girlfriend at the time of these alleged child abuse.
Also, tomorrow I'll go over it, but the very end, they went over all the money that Tiffany spent trying to get the kids, every amount for every attorney, every counselor. It was over $300,000, but they broke it down. I'll try to have that for you tomorrow night. If she don't go over it, I'll still go over it tomorrow night.
We heard from her. And when I say we heard from her, there were affidavits that Tiffany Adams' attorneys brought in and read out saying, and this was a sworn testimony by this person. So we heard from Jessica Forbes. We heard from sheriffs with Grant.
Hold on. Jessica Forbes, that was Wrangler's girlfriend at the time. The way I understood it from what was said today, they were watching TV and the kids were at the end of the bed and the kids started doing things that wasn't appropriate. And that's how they found out that this was happening to them, the SA. That's how I understood it today.
County.
Grant County Sheriff. There was statements from him. All these that she's reading was for the defense.
As well as Cimarron County and Kansas.
Grabowski or whatever his name was. There was a written affidavit from him to Borgowski. Yeah.
We heard from CPS specialists in both Kansas and Oklahoma, and again, They said that this was not a justification or an excuse on Tiffany Adams' defense, but just an explanation of why Tiffany did what she did. And so we were hearing from her attorneys different testimonies and things from these people that were directly involved with the case. And that is how our morning has been spent, is just listening to these affidavits. The Tiffany Adams attorneys, they read out probably over a dozen different people's, sorry guys, the Tiffany Adams attorneys read out over a dozen affidavits from people involved in the case, people in relationships with the family and different things like that. And then the state also added in some affidavits, including Jessica Forbes, who was dating Wrangler Rickman at the time, and said that she personally has seen unsafe behavior by Tiffany Adams and manipulative behavior. And so they just kind of went back and forth of different people who were involved in that case, and just talking about guardian ad litems who were involved with the two children involved in this case. And so later today, we are going to be hearing from the victim impact statements. That is going to be happening. We are at lunch right now, about 1:30. We are going to go back into the courtroom where we are going to hear the victim impact statements from family, friends, and people involved in this case, and hear how these murders have affected them and their life. And we are going to be able to hear from them. But this morning has been spent listening to affidavits from a lot of the people involved in this case, including DCFS in both Kansas and Oklahoma, legal counsel brought on by Tiffany Adams and Wrangler Rickman as they were fighting for custody in this case. And kind of at the root of what preempted these murders was a custody case due to alleged sexual abuse in the home. And so we were able to hear from different DCF workers, attorneys that represented Tiffany Adams and Wrangler Rickman, PIs, private investigators, the sheriffs in these different counties where these alleged sexual child abuse was happening. And so we were able to hear from them, and later today we will get that sentencing. We are at lunch right now, so we are on about an hour break. We have to get back into the court at 1:30, where we are then going to be listening to victim impact statements. Victim impact statements are going to be coming from the family, friends, people involved in Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly's life. A lot of family members are here today on both Tiffany Adams' side and Veronica and Jillian's side. And so we are hearing from a lot of these people. Also, we are hearing about how Tiffany Adams footed the bill for a lot of these legal representation for the custody dispute that they were going through. This was a long dispute starting in what was 2019 up until the murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. And they actually gave us a summary of Veronica Butler's Tiffany Adams, and how much she paid in lawyers' fees. And that ended up going out to over $300,000 in legal fees, trying to fight this custody case because there was alleged sexual abuse from the children's uncle.
Okay, let me say this. It was alleged against the grandchildren because in cases, everything got moved to Cimarron County and it was dropped. Nobody followed up on it. But the case with the brother against the brother was substantiated. And there was another one in Oklahoma. They said substantiated. So.
Uncle and Veronica Butler's half sibling. And so there was a lot of alleged sexual child abuse, and Tiffany Adams and Wrangler Rickman were,
again, alleged. Is it really alleged if it's substantiated? They found it to be substantiated.
Working very hard to get those children out of that house and spending a lot of money and going through different counties and different lawyers and things like that. So she, in summary, ended up spending $322,000 on different lawyer fees trying to get sole custody or guardianship of the two children involved in this case. So she has pled no contest, which means she is not accepting guilt in this case, but she will accept the punishment. And so today, later on today, after our victim impact statements, we are going to get her sentencing. In that plea agreement, it does say that she is not going to be able to get the death penalty, and she is not going to have to testify in any of the other cases or any of the other proceedings associated with this trial. And that was in her plea agreement. She is not going to be, there were 9 counts that she was charged with. She will not be charged in 2 counts of the child abuse. And I do not have that third charge off the top of my head, but 3 of those charges were dropped so that she was able to take this plea agreement. So she is pleading no contest to both of the charges of murder, conspiracy, and those other 6 charges that you can find on newschannel10.com. We have done a very thorough recount of this case. Tad Cullum and Cole Twombly's plead of not guilty, and Tiffany Adams pled no contest. So she is here today. We are live in Texas County, Oklahoma, in Guyman at the Texas County Courthouse, where Tiffany Adams is going to be sentenced later today. This morning was spent listening to testimony and affidavits that Tiffany Adams attorneys, as well as the state, brought up with different legal counsel that Tiffany Adams and Wrangler Rickman have taken. And there was also a summary of how much was spent by Tiffany Adams to fight for this child custody case, and it came out to over $300,000 that Tiffany Adams spent in fighting Veronica Butler and her family because of the alleged sexual abuse of the children. And that was kind of at the root of this case, was involved in Tiffany Adams believed that there was sexual assault happening in the home with Veronica Butler. And so she was trying to get those kids out of that home. And that is kind of how this case started. And so we are listening to testimony from therapists that have met with the kids multiple times and heard their testimony, as well as legal counsel that Wrangler Rickman and Tiffany Adams both maintained throughout these legal proceedings, and how they were represented. This started in February of 2019, and the child custody was a long, long battle in multiple counties, multiple states, fighting for the custody of these children. And so we were hearing from, and this is all again from Tiffany Adams' counsel, who brought in affidavits and they read them. It is sworn testimony, but that means that those people who did that testimony did not appear in court this morning. This was being,
And the reason it was being read is because it would have been several days for sentencing, and they wanted to do it in one day. That's why they did the affidavits.
read by Tiffany Adams and her counsel, as well as the state. So we got to hear both sides of the affidavit. We heard from Jessica Forbes, who was in a relationship with Wrangler Rickman that ended in 2022, but she has been around the kids and been around Tiffany Adams and Wrangler throughout this case, and when that sexual assault allegations first began in 2021. We also heard from sheriffs in Grant County, Kansas, and the former sheriff of Cimarron County. All of these people were involved in this case and involved with this child dispute. That is how this case started originally. This was a child custody dispute, all hinging on that there was sexual assault happening in the home. And so we are waiting for Tiffany Adams to get back. We are at a lunch break right now.
I do want to say this. It was my opinion, how I saw it today. I don't think, no, Stephen Jones did write a statement, though. He wrote an affidavit. I don't think the sexual abuse happened in Veronica's home. It happened in her mother's home, is the way I got it today. I didn't hear that it happened in Veronica's home at all. But in some of the affidavits, the grandson said that he had to go do sleepovers with CW and he didn't want to. So I took it that it was happening at the grandma's house, not at Veronica's.
Going to be hearing victim impact statements following this, following our lunch break ending at 1:30. And so the victim impact statements are going to be heard. We're going to be hearing from family members and friends of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly about how these murders have impacted them and their families. And then we will get Tiffany Adams sentenced. This is a full day process, from hearing from the affidavits about why this happened and what is happening. And I believe she might be pulling up right now. Hold on, guys. Is she pulling up yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think we all just kind of got the impression.
Yeah, it kind of looked like y'all were getting ready. Like I said, we are here live at the Texas County Courthouse. And this morning we were hearing from Tiffany Adams' counsel and attorneys as they talked about how this custody case kind of started and the dispute that was at the root of these murders. And so we were hearing from DCFS, we were hearing from legal counsel that was obtained by both Wrangler Rickman and Tiffany Adams. And we are also hearing from people that were in relationships with Wrangler and Veronica Butler's fiance. We got to hear their testimony as well through the state. These are affidavits, so they are being read by counsel. And so the people that are doing these affidavits are not in the courtroom, but we are being able to hear their words as they are being described and as they are known by the people who are reading them. And so we are at a lunch break right now. We have to go back in around 1:30, and then we will be able to hear victim impact statements from the families that were impacted by this. Veronica Butler's family, I know, have a couple of people that are going to be speaking, as well as Jillian and anybody who has talked to the courts. They are going to be able to have their victim impact statement heard, and that is happening right after lunch. We are going to go back in around 1:30, but we are here live in Texas County, Oklahoma, where Tiffany Adams will be sentenced today. Earlier this morning, we heard from lawyers and Tiffany Adams' counsel, different affidavits from DCFS and people involved in the case, therapists, lawyers, who at the beginning of this, the root of this murder trial involves a custody dispute and sexual assault allegations from Tiffany Adams and the children, and Veronica Butler and Wrangler Rickman's children. There was alleged sexual abuse happening from the children's uncle, Veronica Butler's half-brother. And so we are hearing affidavits from the people involved in this case and the people involved in these children's lives, how they talked in therapy, DCF specialist describing their interactions with the children and the family members. We are hearing from both the state and Tiffany.
Hold on, I want to bring this up while I'm thinking about it. Also, Buddy Leach was reading text messages that Tiffany was going back and forth with Veronica, and she was calling Veronica, I believe it was a fucking cunt. I know it was the word cunt, and it was several times, and they were talking about how Veronica didn't let it bother her and still was pleasant back to Tiffany. They did bring that up too.
The Adams lawyers as they go through this process. I want to make sure. Okay.
Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, Betty Leach had these two pictures. Oh, they put a big old poster of Veronica Butler in the courtroom on an easel, and they put one of Jillian Kelly up there. So, you got to see them up there. They put that up right before the victim impact statements came up. I was going to tell you guys something. It was important too. Let me think about it while this lady's talking. I might have to stop her again so I can tell you what I was just fixing to say.
Sorry, guys. We
Oh.
just making sure.
Okay, now I remember. So Buddy Leach had a picture that he had put on paper, and it was 2 pictures, and he wanted to admit them in the court. And the defense says you can admit them, but I still don't understand what's even in there. What's these pictures about? I don't see it. And Buddy Leach said, well, it's the straps, where her grandson's holding a strap and the granddaughter's holding a strap. The straps that at the end is what went around the freezer. I will say this. The judge says, I'm going to overrule it, and I'm going to let that in. And then a few minutes later, and the judge says, let me say, I don't understand this. I don't see the strap thing either. So that was kind of weird. Again, in my opinion, Buddy Leach needs to up his game. I ain't ever seen a DA that maybe didn't seem very confident to me. But again, that's my opinion on it. Beach Baby says Tiffany was good once upon a time. I mean, listen, a lot of people's from that area. They know her. That's how I identify. There you go.
We know, we hear from everybody involved in this case. This is going to be a long day. We're about to hear victim impact statements. That is going to be emotional. That is going to be hard to hear. There are no cameras or video recordings allowed in the courtroom, but we are about to hear the victim impact statements involved in the Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly murders later this afternoon, as Tiffany Adams, the alleged ringleader, is being sentenced later today. So she did plead no contest back in October, which means she is not taking any, she is not saying, it does not imply guilt on her, but she is accepting the punishment associated with these crimes. And so she is going to be sentenced later today. Her plea agreement involved not getting the death penalty. Tad Cullum and Cole Twombly are still, they have both pled not guilty, and this will be a death penalty jury trial for them, which has been moved to October of 2026 for Tad Cullum. And then for Cole Twombly, I believe it's February of 2027 is when those jury trials will be. You can find all of this at newschannel10.com. We have done a very thorough read through of court documents and investigation and read through these court documents. We have been staying up to date as best we can. There is a gag order in place for Texas County officials, so we are not allowed to speak to many of the people involved in this case, including the sheriff's office and the clerk's office. There is a gag order in place with this, so we are not allowed to speak to a lot of the people involved in this case. So we are still doing our research and still finding court documents and using what we have. But a lot of the time we will not be able to hear from the actual people involved in this case until it is over. And so Tiffany Adams is going to be sentenced later today in this Texas County courtroom. She will not receive the death penalty. That was a part of her plea deal, as well as she will not have to testify at any trial pertaining to these cases. That was also a part of her plea deal. She is pleading guilty, or pleading no contest, excuse me. She's pleading no contest to 6 out of the 9 charges. 2 that are being dropped are the child abuse charge, and then the other one, I'm so sorry, I don't have the paper right in front of me. I am not 100% sure, but you can find all that information at newschannel10.com. We are about to actually head back into the courtroom because it is about to start again at 1:30. So I'll do one final wrap up of everything. We are here in a Texas County courtroom where Tiffany Adams, the alleged mastermind of the murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly, is going to be sentenced later today. This morning was spent a lot of hearing affidavits and proffers from people that were involved in what the root of this murder plot is a custody dispute. Tiffany Adams and her son Wrangler Rickman were trying to gain custody of the 2 children from Veronica Butler because there had been alleged sexual assault in the household. And so we are hearing from the affidavits of people that were involved in this case, including DCFS in both Oklahoma and Kansas, sheriffs in Kansas and Oklahoma, and people who were in relationships with Wrangler and Veronica. We are getting to hear their affidavits. That does not mean that they are in court today. We are hearing that from the attorneys. They are reading sworn testimony from these people. And that is what the first 3 hours of this morning was, just hearing these affidavits from the people involved in this case. Tiffany Adams says that, through her attorneys, say that they have spent over $300,000 fighting for custody with legal and everything like that from February of 2019 up until these murder trials and this murder date. And she worked very hard to gain guardianship of these children because of the alleged sexual abuse in the house. So we heard a lot of that this morning, as well as later today, right after lunch. We are about to go back in about 15 minutes. We are going to hear from the families. We are getting victim impact statements of people involved in Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly's life, their families, their friends, as they talk about how these murders have impacted them and their families. So we are going to be getting that. There is no camera or video recording in these courtrooms. So I will be going in about 15 minutes or so, because that starts at 1:30. And then Tiffany Adams will be sentenced later today. She will not get the death penalty. That was part of her plea agreement. She pleads no contest, which is not admitting guilt, but she will accept the punishment, which is what a no contest order means. And so she has pled no contest to these crimes, and she is not going to get the death penalty. And she will also not have to testify in any trial or anything related to this case. And so right now we are on our lunch break. We will be going back in about 15 minutes as we hear from the victims and we get Tiffany Adams sentenced. So if I haven't really been checking the comments, I don't believe anybody has any questions, but I am probably about to jump off in the next 5 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, please just send those in. We are here in Guyman, Oklahoma, Texas County, as Tiffany Adams is about to be sentenced later today. We are about to go back in and hear victim impact statements, and then she will be sentenced shortly after that. So they will do closing arguments, and then there will be a sentencing. She will not, again, get the death penalty because of her plea agreement, but she will also not have to testify in any court appearance or trial that is set with this case. And that was in her plea agreement. So we are about to go back inside to hear the victim impact statements, and we will make sure to keep you all updated as we get more information. Hopefully we will be out to make it to the 5 o'clock show. And we will give you an update when that happens. I'll make sure to jump back on to Facebook Live once we have a sentence, once we know exactly how Tiffany Adams is going to be spending her time at the Oklahoma State Bureau. There were multiple cases about it, but I do not believe anything was ever officially charged. So
somebody asked about the SA cases. Yes, there was several of them. I believe there's 3. One of them was dropped because Kansas dropped the ball. The other 2 was substantiated. So as far as charges, the brother didn't get charged, but the cases was found to be substantiated.
There is no charge related to the sexual.
And he was very young. 11, I think it was 11. He was 11. Doing this at age 11, where does a kid learn that? Watching pornos on grandma's iPad or mom's iPad and doing stuff like this. Where does an 11-year-old learn this?
Abuse of the child. It was, I believe she is. Hold on, let me check. Guys, y'all keep doing that and y'all keep moving at the same time, and I think that
I know. We're not doing it on purpose.
I know, but y'all moved at the same time, and I was like, oh goodness.
We're trigger happy.
Yeah.
What do you want from me, man?
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I am about to head back into the courtroom so that
I like the way that she's doing this reporter. She's definitely, she's not him hauling around about it. She's at least bringing it up where some people, they don't even want to bring it up. Listen, the facts of the case are the facts of the case. Whether we agree with it or not, they were fighting for custody. There was the essays. What Tiffany did is not right. But you got to blame DCF too. They should have followed up on these. They should have. Who's protecting the younger brother now? Because they went into detail about things that happened between the brothers, and it was hard to listen to. Do I think Tiffany was into drugs? Or you asked Beach Baby that? Listen, she looked like she was rough. Okay, I don't know what was going on there. They didn't say anything about drugs in court. I will say that. I didn't think he learned it from her. I feel like a stepfather, maybe. That, yeah, I think you're just hitting that right on the button there. I don't know. This kid used to travel in the truck with his dad, so I've been told. Like, I just really don't know. It's crazy. There's one more thing I want to show you. Like I said, if you're paying attention now and you say, "Oh shit, I missed the live," we're gonna go live Tuesday tomorrow at 7 and really go over all this. Okay. So don't think that you didn't get a chance to talk. I just felt that I should bring it up to you guys and we should talk about it. I know several people had messaged me. Wasn't there a stepfather that is an abusive on the equation? You know, there was rumors. I listen, as anybody knows, when you're a minor, them cases get sealed. During this case, it was said to us with no proof that there was a case out of Springfield with a stepfather, essays, but it was sealed. I haven't found anything on that, but that has been said by many, many people. Wasn't there a stepfather? Yeah. She's changed for sure. Listen, I love my grandkids too. Um, if this was going on with my grandkids, I couldn't unalive people, but I'm not gonna say I wouldn't steal my grandkids. Like, I don't know. What do you do? I don't know. Okay, back to this. It's a hard one. Okay, so this is what was put today. Let me get my glasses. Minute order. Life without parole costs. Life without parole costs 4 to 5 years. Docs costs. Okay. Is the document available? Let's look at it. And see what it says while we're here. It's kind of weird how I have to do this, but we're going to do it this way anyway. Okay, here we go. Record of proceedings in open court, felony on February 2nd, 2026. The indicated proceedings occurred. State of Oklahoma, President Buddy H. Leach. Defendant appeared in person in an open court with counsel. OIDS Mitchell S. Solom, Alex Richard, and Maya Hansen. Does anybody see that investigator guy that was up there just cutting it up with Tiffany on there? I don't see any investigator guy as part of this defense team. Again, whose job was it to stop that whatever was going on? That guy was sitting in the main attorney's spot. I don't know where that main attorney was. It happened more than once. It happened every break. What was he talking to Tiffany about? What is there left for him to investigate? I'm just curious. And I did ask his name. He wouldn't tell me. And I asked Trevor, the guy's name. He wouldn't tell me either. He just said he was part of the defense team. He's an investigator. That's all we got out of it. Okay. Preliminary inquiry and arraignment. Parties announced ready to proceed with sentencing. Parties advised that there was an agreement to the proceedings procedure. Defendant was sworn under oath and adjudged competent for today's proceedings. State waived opening. Defense gave brief opening. The defense counsel began by reading the affidavits of individuals as part of the agreed procedure. The state then read counter affidavits as part of the agreed procedure. After the lunch break, the defense moved. Sorry, my foot was cramping. Moved for admission of all their exhibits. Defense exhibits labeled A through O were admitted into evidence with no objection from state. The supporting materials behind each affidavit were ordered, sealed, pursuant to a written order. The state then moved for admission of its exhibits labeled A through M with no objection. States A through M were admitted into evidence. The state then proceeded with presented victim impact statements. Both sides announced they had made a brief closing argument, followed by a brief closing by the state of Oklahoma. And let me tell you what, he said 3 things. He had 3 things. 1, 2, 3. That's what Buddy Leach had. 1, 2, 3. Anyway. Both sides announced nothing further. The court took a brief recess to review the exhibits and to collect thoughts. The court returned and asked if there was any legal reason the court should not impose judgment and sentence. Both sides indicated there was no reason. The court then proceeded with judgment and sentence as follows. Defendant informed by the court of the nature of the information, her plea, and asked by the court whether she has any legal cause to show why judgment should not be pronounced against her. Defendant replied in the negative and no cause appearing to the court. It is the judgment of this court that the defendant is adjudged guilty and is sentenced to the following: life without possibility of parole, count 1. Count 2, life without possibility of parole. Count 3, dismissed with costs. Count 4, 5 years DOC plus court costs. Count 5, 5 years DOC plus court costs. Count 6, 7 years DOC plus court costs. 7 years DOC plus court costs. Costs 8 and 9, each dismissed with costs. Sentences ordered to run concurrent with each other. Court's usual rules and conditions are to apply. Court costs ordered assessed to defendant and to be paid per Rule 8 hearing. VCA fee in the amount of $600 is assessed. I will say this, her defense attorney said that they waived their fees. I don't know. They were court appointed, but he said they waived their fees. DAR fee in the amount of $300 is assessed. Oid's attorney fee in the amount of $0 because it was waived. There it is. Mental health fee, $0. DEA fee, $0. Defendant is ordered placed under supervision of the DOC and is not applicable to pay monthly probation fees to the DOC. Defendant noticed of her right to appeal to the Court of Criminal Appeals, and if indigent, upon application to have counsel appointed for her without cost and to have a transcript furnished without cost. Defendant informed the court that she understood her appeal rights. Defendant waives the right to remain in Texas County Detention Center for 10 days before being delivered to DOC. So there you go. Defendant waives the right to remain in Texas County Detention Center for 10 days before being delivered to DOC. Defendant ordered transported to Department of Corrections to serve sentence hereon. Cost hearing notice at sentence plea signed by defendant. Defendant is directed to report to the court clerk immediately or upon release from custody. She's not going to be released. Rule 8 hearing to be complete at the convenience of the sheriff's office. And there was that. There was that one. There's one more. Let's pull it up real quick. And then that's it. And then we're going to be done. Let's pull it up. Because I haven't seen either one of these either. Okay. Part B, sentence on plea. Okay. Let's see what this says. All right. Sentence of plea. Tiffany Michelle Adams, 2/2/2026. The court sentences the defendant as follows: time to serve. You are sentenced to confinement under the supervision of Department of Corrections for terms of years as follows. List in same order as question number 515. Part A, life without the possibility of parole. Life without the possibility of parole. 1 LWOP, 2 LWOP. That means they were dismissed without prejudice. 4 and 5, 5 years. 6 and 7, 7 years. Upon the release, that's all marked out. The sentences are to run concurrent with each other. Defendant shall receive credit for time served. Listen, she ain't ever getting out, so that's been the only things that's marked. You are to pay a fine, costs, and or fees to the county court. Let me try that again. County court clerk, as ordered by this court. Costs to be paid on all counts. Rule 8 hearing ordered, with same order completed. Cost notice given at the convenience of the sheriff or, court finds assessment of incarceration costs would not pose a manifest hardship on defendant or his dependents based on factors. It is further ordered that the clerk of this court shall register or report the following circumstances in accordance with the applicable statutory authority. As to counts 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, the defendant is ineligible to register to vote pursuant to Section 4. Sentenced to incarceration. To appeal from this conviction or order deferring sentences on your plea of guilt, you must file in the district court clerk's office a written application to withdraw your plea of guilty within 10 days from today's date. You must set forth in detail why you are requesting to withdraw your plea. The trial court must hold a hearing and rule upon your application within 30 days from the date it's filed. If the trial court denies your application, you have the right to ask the Court of Criminal Appeals to review the district court's denial by filing a petition for writ of certiorari, within 90 days from the date of the denial, within 10 days from the date of application to withdraw a plea of guilty and denied. Notice of intent to appeal and designation of record must be filed pursuant to Oklahoma Court and Criminal Appeals Rule 4.2d. If you are indigent, you have the right to be represented on appeal by a court-appointed attorney and right to transcripts at public's expense. Do you understand each of these rights to appeal? Yes. Do you want to remain in the county jail 10 days before being taken to the place of confinement? No, she wants out of there. Have you fully understood the questions that have been asked? Yes. Have your answers been freely and voluntarily given? Yes. I acknowledge, understand the rights and sentence imposed. Tiffany Adams, she signs it, and then the attorney signed it, and it's today's dates, and then the judge signs it. There you go. And the court clerk. So there's that. Certificate of Defense Counsel. As the attorney for the defendant, Tiffany Adams, I certified that 1, the defendant has stated to me that she is unable to, he didn't circle it, to read and understand the attached form. And I have determined the defendant is able to understand the English language. And then I have fully read and explained the defendant the allegations contained on the information of this case. I've read and fully explained the defendant all of the questions in the plea of guilty summary of facts, and the answers to the questions set out in the summary of facts are the defendant's answers. To the best of my knowledge and belief in the statements and declaration made by the defendant are accurate and true and have been freely, voluntarily made. And then today's date. There was that. There was one other thing, and all of us on the front row was curious. On Tiffany's right arm, on the back side, there's a tattoo. It was really little saying. It looked like a sentence. Does anybody know what that is? If you do, I'm just curious. We all was asking each other, does anybody know what that tattoo is? Is that something she's always had? I don't know. But it's on her right arm, right on the back side, at the top. So, other than that, that's it, guys. We will go live tomorrow. Okay, hold on. I see some questions over here. Savannah says, I do believe drugs were involved at the moment. Hawkeye says, I just hate she doesn't have to testify against others. Yes, they really needed her testimony. I think they need her testimony. I feel like it has to be something that's made her delusional, mental illness, drugs, something. Well, Jezebel, they're saying that the custody of the kids, and they're also bringing up the SA. Was that enough to push her over the edge? I don't know. I don't know. Jezebel says, if it's sealed or gagged ordered, could that investigator's name not be mentioned because they're still doing something with the others? I don't think so. I mean, if he's part of the defense team, why was his name not on there? I don't know. And what did he have to talk to her about? She's being sentenced. He's part of the defense team. Somebody said they thought that tattoo was done in jail. Listen, I couldn't get that close enough to see it. That tattoo is recent. Well, she's definitely got a tattoo on the right arm, on the backside. It was definitely noticeable. We could see it, but we couldn't see what it was. So she's going to be leaving the jail. You'll have to ask her girlfriend when she arrives at her new home what that tattoo is. That's right. That's right. Again, if there's family watching, I thought you guys all did a great job. To get up there and not break down and say everything you wanted to say, kudos to you. You guys did great. When the judge said, you're going to hear some rough things, and if you can't control yourself, you need to leave, and if you don't leave, we'll help you leave. Man, that's rough. That's rough. You guys did great. Okay, back. I'm going to start this song again. Guys, I will see you tomorrow night, hopefully around 7. Let me see what tomorrow brings. I'll set it up tomorrow. And today, for anybody that didn't get to see it earlier, sorry. I just decided to go live the best I can. I was on my phone. But I've been trying to schedule them. Here we go. And if you have questions tomorrow night or you want to come on the panel, you're more than welcome to come on the panel. Okay, here we go. Much love to everybody. I'm so glad everybody came here. Again, tomorrow night at 7, we're going to go over all the same stuff we just went over tonight. Give people a chance on a regular Tuesday and go over everything. So if anybody wants to come up and ask questions or anything or say something, we'll drop the link so you can. Much love.
Small town courtroom, wooden floors, mama crying by the door. Clock on the wall don't make a sound when the judge says life out loud. Tiffany's staring at her hands, chains around her final stand. The chapter closed, a heavy vow. She can't hurt no one now. Veronica stood when the gavel fell. Truth rang louder than a prison cell. No more fear, no more doubt. Justice finally spoke out. Pain don't vanish, scars stay deep. But tonight the world can sleep because evil lost somehow. She can't hurt no one now. Victims spoke with shaking voice, but still they made a fearless choice. Said we forgive, but we won't forget. That's the strongest thing said yet. Not for her, but for their souls, breaking free from what she stole. Grace don't mean you back her ways, it just means hate won't stay. Veronica stood when the gavel fell. Truth rang louder than a prison cell. No more fear, no more doubt. Justice finally spoke out. Pain don't vanish, scars stay deep. But tonight the world can sleep because evil lost somehow. She can't hurt no one now. Forgiveness ain't weakness, it's iron and steel. It's choosing to live, it's choosing to heal. Life behind walls, no more control, no more victims, no more souls. Veronica won, not with a fist, but with the truth they couldn't dismiss. A sentence written in concrete and sound. Tiffany's world just shut down. Families rise broken but proud. They bury crowd. Justice spoke, the crowd knew how. She can't hurt no one now. Church bells ring, not for revenge, but for the end of her damage. The past still hurts, but hope allows. She can't hurt no one now. I prefer this response. I prefer this response.